Hello everyone, welcome to Unacademy special classes. About me, I am Sandeep Bhushan and my credentials are I have 8 years of teaching experience and I teach international relations and internal security and also the in-depth analysis of Hindu editorials and articles. And this session is in regards to how to crack prelims 2020, mainly emphasizing on the analysis of editorials, articles and other important issues. And before I get into the topic, I would say or I would apologize for the delay. I apologize for the delay. And everyone, Harmit Singh, Pooja, Nitya, Abaj, Ganesh, Kumar, Sushant, Kamran, everyone a big hi. And then I'm extremely sorry for the delay. And now we'll get into the topic wherein today's topic is in regards to the Donald Trump versus WHO. Donald Trump versus WHO, and this is today's editorial, and it is a trending topic or editorial. You can take it, wherein the Donald Trump is raising an issue against the WHO, and in turn, as we all know that he has raised an issue in regards to WHO that the WHO did not take it into consideration the exact timing of or handling the situation of the pandemic, that is COVID-19, across the globe. It did not really intervene at the right moment when it was spreading virulent in Wuhan district of the Hubei province. So there is many the hands raised or the fingers raised by Donald Trump in regards to not really handling the situation effectively to contain the virus, that is the COVID-19 pandemic. Not only that, he has moved forward a step further in going ahead, making sure that, or he has also said that it is the US which contributes more to the WHO, or the budget to the WHO is very high from the USO, and then he has made a point that if that goes on, then there would be some kind of implications on the budgeting of US towards the WHO, and that is what has happened today. And in regards to the news, that is editorial, today's editorial is this, that is the decision whatever taken by the Donald Trump or the US president is disastrous against the WHO. That is what the editorial talks about, and the editor is very clearly talking about how WHO has been victimized by Donald Trump. Definitely, we have seen in the past also. This is what we have seen, that the US or the Trump has victimized the WHO. What we have seen in the past. In the past, I'm talking about even half a decade or decade back also, we have seen that the kind of the pressure the US puts on the international institutions. Now we have seen, or now the discussion is in regards to the WHO, that is US or else specifically Donald Trump versus WHO. But in the past also we have seen the US trying to have hegemony over all other countries across the world. It could be the developing countries, underdeveloped countries, and also various other developed countries. And not only that, the US is also having hegemony or trying to control over the international institutions like United Nations, or in regards to very specific United Nations Security Council. And we have seen the climate change, what has taken place, that unilaterally US has moved out, or else Donald Trump has moved out of the climate change Paris deal, and also Iran nuclear deal. US has gone it. So we have seen that the Trump or as US goes ahead with the unilateral decisions because it feels that it is the most developed country in the world, and then having more of economically strong. So it has done all the points, or it has done all the substances wherein it could prove that yes, it is trying to show hegemony not only against the developing and then the developed countries, but also onto the international institutions. And the one which is now in the light, wherein Trump is repeatedly or has repeatedly targeted Ghebreyesus, that is the chief of WHO, making it very clear that he is finding fault on the way the functioning of the WHO in not trying to contain or WHO could not intervene at the right moment to contain the spread of virus. So definitely Trump is blaming against WHO. Definitely Trump is blaming against WHO, trying to make sure that it is the WHO which has to take the responsibility of the COVID-19 pandemic, which has spread across the world, But in turn, there is something going on within that. The Trump knows very well, or else the entire world knows very well, that it is the mistake which has been done by the Trump, wherein he did not take the corrective measures or the stricter measure to contain the virus in USA or in the US continent, or also even regards to the spread of from US to Europe, or else even into the Latin American countries. So the blame game is being done very practically and very scientifically, or very in regards to mind game, that he is trying to put the blame or throw the blame onto the WHO or to the Gebreyesus. Okay, before I get into the topic, there are, what do you say, a couple of messages. Sushant says that the WHO misadvise on travel bans due to that many other factors which affect America First policy, and Trump stopped funding to. Okay, that is one point. And then we will also look at Harpreet Singh says that Mr. Trump facing criticism at USA because China derailed US economy and public health correlation, that USA asked China to let the expert team get in Wuhan and investigate, but China denied it, which may be seen as a taken as suspicion. Okay, from US point of view, or Donald Trump is going ahead. Chutabim says, good morning, sir. Miss you all. Okay, very good. And then Vishal says that he is trying to blame who for not containing virus in USA. Okay, fine. Now the discussion has actually come into the, what is a limelight. Now it is on the platform because of the queries from you all. Now the entire discussion is in the right platform, and then we'll move forward now in regards to the entire discussion, how the blame game has started and why it is going on, and then who has to be blamed, or is there any scope, that Mule Alok has joined, Kronal has joined, Aditya has joined, everyone a very big hi to everyone. And now the point is whether there is a scope, scope for the blame game at this moment, whether we need to go ahead with contain the virus, or we should keep on blaming each and everyone, is also a big question raised now at the midst of the pandemic. We will all go through that. I will explain it detail and making sure that it will be a very interactive session. So it's a blame game versus Trump versus Gebreyesus. Arpit says that I think Trump stopped WHO funding to appease the local people of US in the wake of upcoming presidential elections. Okay, there could be various reasons in regards to, as I was talking yesterday, in regards to Italy versus Netherlands, and then again in regards to Germany, Netherlands together versus against Italy, France, and Spain. And now again in Italy you have a various political parties supporting the Eurobonds, and then various political parties in Netherlands not supporting the government. So there would be various political reasons for each and every country. And in regards to America also, definitely the elections which are supposed to take place, the presidential elections in America in the month of November, that is November 2020, there are elections supposed to take place for the presidential elections. No doubt the incumbent president would definitely go ahead with trying to appease the people there. Now we will look at the disaster decision, that is in regards to the today's editorial. So there was a situation wherein the entire world or the globe was facing the pandemic situation, and then the health crisis across the world, across the countries, irrespective of the developed or underdeveloped countries. The humankind was affecting. The virus was spreading without knowing any kind of borders. Virus doesn't have borders, like we did talk about, or I did talk about yesterday, Eurobonds. So that is why Corona bonds, they have labeled it as a Corona bond. Why Euro bonds were labeled as Corona bonds? Because as Euro bonds doesn't have, it's a bond without borders. The same way Corona bonds are also, it doesn't know. It spreads. Coronavirus spreads without any borders. The same way here, when it was spreading virulent, the entire globe, it was facing, or it was reeling under economic crisis, and thereby all the countries across the globe, irrespective of developing, underdeveloped, and developed countries and developing countries, all have come together, and there was a global effort which was combined together, which was coordinated together to make sure that they fight against the COVID-19, or they come out very successfully fighting against the war, that is against the SARS-CoV-2, and there was all together, everyone were together, coming together to fight against the global war, that is SARS-CoV-2. So that means entire globe was coming together, all the countries were coming together to fight against the COVID-19. But at this time, at this situation, the entire scenario, what the countries were coming together, has been faltered because of the statement made by the US President Donald Trump. What was the statement made by the US President Donald Trump? That was, he made a statement that he would freeze, or he would freeze the funding of WHO. So this is what is the global effect has been distracted. The global effect, the entire country is coming together or jointly fighting against the pandemic to restrict it, or to, what do you say, win over the war against the SARS-CoV-2, has been faltered. Why faltered? Because of the statement made by Donald Trump, wherein he has made a statement that WHO has to take the responsibility of the spread of the virus, or the situation, or the pandemic, or the loss of the lives, or the mortality rate in regards to SARS-CoV-2 has to be taken by the WHO. Not only that, he has also started blaming WHO that it did not intervene at the right time, and then later on, the further he has taken a further step, going ahead with freezing the funding to the WHO itself. And this is not the right time. What the Donald Trump has to be doing this kind of, or taking this kind of decision, which would impact not only to the WHO, but also it would impact many other countries which are dependent on WHO in regards to the funding, in regards to the N95 masks, in regards to the ventilators, in regards to the personal protective equipment. So definitely what Donald Trump has done in regards to stopping the funds to the WHO is not just to the WHO, or is not just having some kind of enmity or disagreements towards Tedros Ghebreyesus, but it is his action is against many underdeveloped countries, or middle and low income group countries across the world would be badly hit because of his contribution, or he freezing the funding towards WHO. And this has rattled the efforts of global solidarity, because it was WHO which has come up with a project called as Global Solidarity Project. Please do understand, there was a project which has come up by the WHO, wherein it has come up with the title called as Solidarity Project or Global Solidarity Project. So that project has been now rattled, it has been disturbed because of the statement made by Donald Trump, that is freezing the entire funding from USA towards the WHO, is a very big concern. And it's a big concern because the entire globe was coming together, all the countries were coming together, and now the Trump, whatever made the statement, it is all diluting the global effort to fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, before I think I will just read one. I think Trump stopped WHO funding to office. Okay, that one. Joint hand during this crisis, pandemic, nation first theory and policies being politically biased. Okay, Sushant says that politically biased. Policies being political biased. Okay, fine. Nation first. But at this time, it is not nation first, it is globe first, it is human race first, it is humankind first. The humankind has to be taken into consideration. Let later on the nation first has to come, or else what the Donald Trump always keeps on saying, America first and let's keep America great. Here in this case, when he is trying to, what you say, freeze the funding towards the WHO, America will definitely not become great. America will never be looked at the same the entire world was looking at America at this. I mean, due to, because the initiative or the kind of decision taken by Donald Trump, definitely America will be looked at very low by the developing countries or middle and low income countries, because he has directly affected the lives of his decision has directly affected the lives of the middle income group and lower income group across the world. And this is the time, at least at the time when the WHO is actually in need of more money, in need of funds, so that it would make sure that the critical responses in regards to pandemic 19, as I was talking about the underdeveloped and developing countries which are looking at WHO in regards to the measures in regards to ventilators, as I said, masks, personal protective equipment, and also in regards to the funding. It is that now the WHO is in need of money. In fact, this is a time wherein the WHO is seeking, it is asking for almost 675 million additional funding to be done to WHO by various other countries or organizations or international organizations. So WHO is wanting more money at this time to contain the virus, or to take, or to get into the mode of handling the situation, that is a health crisis situation across the countries which are developing and then the underdeveloped countries. When the entire WHO is actually wanting more funding to be, what do you say, pumped into the, or which has to be infused into the WHO. At that moment, the Trump has taken this disaster decision. And what is that WHO is actually asking now, or wanting or seeking the funds, is 675 million US dollars. So at this time, when the Trump has taken a decision, it is definitely a disastrous, and it is an unthinkable disaster, unthinkable decision. Okay, before I get into Kaushik and everyone who have joined, a very big hi to them. I was just in the flow of the explanation and all that, and I would read a couple of Anshu has written, US is the biggest WHO funder, no doubt about it, and also allows H1B visa extension, no doubt about it. Sushan says, as I have written, because Trump's administration, why and civil servants are not giving and suggesting world in family slogan. Okay, very good. That is what. See, the WHO has come up with Global Solidarity Project. Sushant, the WHO has come up with a project called as Global Solidarity Project. That itself says that when they are saying global solidarity, it is that, I mean, the entire world is a family. Entire world is a family. We have to treat the world as one family. That is why the entire globe was coming together, making sure that they have the concrete structures or measures to tackle the COVID-19 across the globe. But at this junction, Trump's decision to freeze the funding towards WHO is a disastrous, and it is unthinkable, and it will impact a lot on the middle and low income countries. Now look at what is that is happening, that the richest country in the world, the mightiest country in the world, the so-called, I'm saying, they presume, US presume that they are the mightiest and then economically very strong. What is it doing by going ahead with freezing the funds to the WHO? It is freezing the funds not to WHO. It is freezing the funds. It is starving the people of the middle and low income countries across the globe, especially in the African countries, and then in various other countries wherein the low income and middle income countries are extending their arms towards WHO for the, or to fight against the pandemic. At this situation, it is disastrous, ultimately a disastrous. And a very big hi to everyone who have joined now. And who has said Anshu, not Anshu? Okay. Someone has spoken about the funding. US does funding towards the to a WHO. Definitely, who has said, I don't know exactly who has made the point, but yes, the US is the biggest contributor to the WHO. Not only in regards to WHO, even in regards to even United Nations also. Earlier also, a couple of years back also, US was threatening the United Nations organization, and in regards to the United Nations Security Council, that it is we who go ahead with the maximum budgeting towards the United Nations. 20% of the entire budget to the UN is been budgeted by, or it has been contributed by US towards United Nations I'm talking about. So it is repeatedly trying to have the hegemony over. Okay, Chota Bhim was saying halting funding to a WHO. Yes. So US is definitely going ahead with having a hegemony or control or domination over the international organizations. As I said, now example in regards to the UN also, and now we'll come to this in regards to WHO, as US is the biggest contributor to WHO, and it contributes funds 500 million US dollars, 500 million US dollars, and it is a big amount. And when it is a big amount, it is a, what is the biggest contributor. This kind of actions is not accepted. It doesn't really suits the one who talks or who treats himself or himself or the country as a big brother. No, big brother has to be in a such a way that wherein the family is actually the entire globe. Now entire globe is a family, now one family. When the family is reeling under pressure financially or in regards to any kind of pandemic like situation, it has to come forward as a big brother and then try to help, not try, it has to help it has to understand, it has to not only sympathize, it has to empathize the entire family, that is the globe, and then make sure that it moves ahead with a right notion, with a positive attitude. But here, no, it is going against. And because of this Trump shock, because of the Trump shock or the disastrous decision or the unthinkable decision, or else the freezing of the funding to the WHO has really created a panic across the countries, across the globe, in various countries, because all the countries have come together. The globe has come together. Why? To go ahead with a patchwork countries experiment. What? Actually, they were going ahead with a kind of strategic exit. Many countries, as India has also wanted to go ahead with a strategic exit or calibrated exit. All the countries across the world were actually in the mode of that strategic exit, wherein they were going ahead with the calibrated exit. So that was actually in the mode of the to go ahead, or in the mode of the functioning. But the kind of decision taken by Donald Trump, it has created a new uncertain phase of pandemic. This is very important. Because of the disaster decision of Donald Trump, a new and uncertain phase of pandemic across the globe has been initiated. Across the globe has been initiated because of the Trump's shock, wherein the entire world or the countries across the globe were actually planning a patchwork experiment. Patchwork experiment. What is a patchwork experiment? Trying to protect the lives, trying to come up with the livelihoods. Please do understand the lives versus livelihood, what we have discussed a couple of days back. So lives are important, economy is important. Lives and then livelihood. That means in regards to making sure that the health is important and also economy is important. So that was the framework wherein the major countries were actually coming up with the patchwork experiment. Please do what do you say, emphasize, do emphasize on this keyword, what I'm saying, patchwork experiment by the various countries. But because of Donald Trump's action, it has been a big shock to all the countries now, and many countries in the world are like, what to do situation now, next what. And now we will look at, before I go ahead, I'll just read what Arpit has said, and then I would say hi to even the one who are watching here. Hi to everyone. And Arpit has said, China at helm as USA might feel the heat. Trump administration coercive policies against anyone who associated with China. Okay, okay, what you said is also point that probably whoever is, I mean, if you look at, Russia is definitely supporting China. China is definitely supporting Russia, and it is happening since almost 2016. So China and Russia have come together. Russia and China has come together, and they are fighting against, or else they are standing together against USA. So probably I'm just saying, probably in the near future or somewhere around 20, 30 or 40 years down the line, there could be more countries. There could be more countries together in Eurasia. Please understand this, Arpit. There could be more countries in Eurasia combined together, might threat or might give a blow to the USA. I'm saying countries together in Eurasia, countries together in Eurasia might come together and give a blow or threat to USA. That might happen. So tomorrow, many countries would join together and then try to stop the hegemony of US the way it is going ahead now. And then Surabhin says that many low and middle income countries totally depend on WHO. That is what I have made a point. And now we will look at the what are the efforts, because Donald Trump repeatedly has been blaming, or he has raised fingers towards or against WHO. So now we will look at what WHO has done. I mean, only in regards to pandemic, not in the total what it is and all about. No, WHO has continuously urged countries. So it has urged countries, what it has urged continuously, that many countries or maximum countries which have initially infected by the SARS-CoV-2, the WHO has made a point, or it has brought to the notice, or it has gone ahead with emphasizing that the testing has to be taken place. Aggressive. That is what kind of test? aggressive testing has to take place. And wherever the testing, there are kind of symptoms or the spread of virus could take place, or if it is spreading virulent, then the WHO has urged the countries across the globe that there has to be aggressive testing. Why aggressive testing? Because only by the testing the symptoms could be, it could be traced, and once the symptoms are traced, that means only by the testing we can understand, or we can know that an individual is being contacted or is being infected by the virus, and then quarantine can be taken up, and then again the testing of the can be taken up so that the spread of virus do not take place. So tracing, testing, and then treatment was what it said, and WHO emphatically it has pressed on the three T's, that is test, test, test. Ghebreyesus has said it. WHO chief Tedros Ghebreyesus has said it very clearly. What is the need of the earth in the middle of March itself? In the mid of March itself, he has made it very clear that it is test, test, test. What is very important? Okay, I would say hi to everyone here. I would say hi to everyone, and Kamal Khazi has just typed in Aaj ka current affairs ha. He is asking, is it today's, or I presume that he is asking that whether it is today's. Yes, this is definitely today's editorial. This is today's editorial. That is what, when you look at an editorial, you need to understand how we can actually link it from various angles. That how best we can try to look at from prelims point of view, how we can identify the keywords or the key phrases for prelims point of view in regards to various. It could be economy, polity, or it could be again in regards to science and technology. So how we can try to identify is very important, and that is what my job or my strain is in regards to, as an educator in Unacademy special class. I'm trying to get that very close to the civil servant aspirants, that is you all, that how best we can try to look at it in a 360 degrees, to each and every topic. It just looks very simple when we are looking at an editorial, but this is what it actually constitutes, and this is what UPSC want you to focus on. No doubt, Aman, it is current affairs. And good morning, Barsha Naik also. Good morning, very good morning. I think yesterday also you have joined, but you have joined at the end, last. But today, okay, very good. Good morning, Barsha Naik. And then it's not only said that the countries have to go ahead with the test, 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 but it also spoke about the window of opportunities. It also spoke about windows of opportunity, so that how best we can try to contain the virus. That is, it has come up with the various notification or in regards to the bulletins, that 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 how we can go ahead with the spread of virus to contain. So various measures. It was talking that it is not now the window of opportunity. Opportunity is at the human being side, or else the countries can go ahead with making sure that the opportunity can be taken into consideration, and then the stricter measure can be implemented by social distancing and testing, that is quarantining, again later on quarantining and then testing. So this was a window of opportunity, and it has also warned that this window of opportunity to contain the virus is slowly waning or slowly narrowing. It is decreasing. That means the spread of virus was increasing. So definitely WHO was time and again, depending upon the situation, it was making it very clear or bringing to the notice of the entire countries altogether that what has to be done. Okay, Aman Kazi says, can I ask one question? If you, yeah, go ahead, go ahead. Aman, please go ahead. You are at free. You are at free. You can like everyone who is keying in their doubts. You can key in. Nothing about it. I'm always for you all. Can I ask one question? If you can say yes, I will try. If I'm able to, what do you say, answer to your question, I'll try. And then hi to everyone who has joined. And then I will continue now. Before the I would come up with the Aman Kazi's point of view. And then WHO has also alerted that against the travel and trade. So definitely WHO has come up with various uh, measures that it wanted to go ahead with, or it was repeatedly saying that what has to be done, what or its do's and don'ts. it was very clearly mentioning each and every time what are the do's and don'ts. And then in January itself, WHO has considered or it has declared COVID-19 as a public health emergency. That means WHO is doing its job right from December or the mid of January itself, that once it has detected that the virus is spreading virulent in Wuhan district in the Hubei province, and after the information what has been given, the data facts by the China towards WHO, and WHO further again investigating various measures or the what do you say in regards to medical facts and figures, what how the Wuhan has actually experienced the SARS-CoV-2. It has declared in the month of January itself it's a public health emergency, and in the month of mid March it has declared COVID-19 as a pandemic. Public health emergency is different. Please do understand this keyword. And then again in regards to pandemic is also different. So in the mid March it has declared, WHO had declared COVID-19 as a pandemic. And when you look at this, WHO did support China's large-scale mitigation measures. Probably this is a point which is raising a concern towards or to Donald Trump, that Trump is feeling or Trump might have some kind of what you say information that WHO was supporting China or it was on the sides of China, that because of that now he's wherein they had this US China trade war since almost 2018 or so, the trade war which is happening between US and China, and then post or else aftermath of that now again WHO kind of supporting the China's mitigation measures to spread the virus is not liked. It is not liked by probably by Donald Trump. Okay, now we'll come to the point. Aman Khazi says that it's GPSP and UPSP are same in course, and I'm newly for this. Okay, okay. Aman, this is for the UPSC. Aman Khazi, this is for UPSC. Yeah, that is in regards to civil services. And GPSC is it Gujarat Public Service Commission, GPSC means. And if at all there is these questions can also be part of the GPSC, I mean state also, because now when the COVID is going on, definitely, or else the pandemic situation is going on, it will be concentrated by all the state service commissions across the country, across the what do you say, all the states, 28 states. They will definitely consider this whatever we are discussing, and definitely I'm saying definitely it will be useful for your GPSP also, State Service Commission. If GPSP is what I'm thinking, it is Gujarat Public State Service Commission. If I'm so, it will be definitely useful. Nothing to worry. And all my classes will be useful for not only for UPSC, even for state services. Nikhil Rathod says that, sir, then why countries do not take measures earlier? Okay, okay, we will look at, yes, very valid point said. So what is important is the response is important. The response of the country is important. When WHO is making a point or WHO gets information and then passing on the information or the bulletins of do's and don'ts and measures, and then making sure that how it can be handled, or in regards to testing, laboratory testing and all that, quarantining and all that. So definitely it takes time, because we are all humans and we take a little bit of extra time, because we are all kind of lethargic, laid back attitude. We are like, oh, let's come and then we will decide it. And probably this is costing a dear to the human race itself. That kind of attitude, laid back attitude. Oh, let me see, let me, or I will react when it comes. It has come, it has reacted. Like you have that Bonaparte and Napoleon, or who said this? He has just come, seen, and then conquered, and then went. The same way, virus is also, SARS-CoV-2 also has come, has seen, as what you say, swept away the entire globe. Uh, and Sushant said that global solidarity versus freedom of economics. Okay, very good, very well said. Uh, it's a bioweapon for any one country. It's a kind of war. That is a war by microorganism towards the human race. And humans are fighting against a war, against a microorganism which is not seen by our naked eye. Look at the situation what we are facing. That is why this COVID-19 pandemic is bound to change the mindset of the entire humankind, human race itself. It is bound to change the mindset of the entire human race. When I'm saying human race, it is you, me, everyone, me also. And then Sushant says, sir, my question about, yes, that is what I'm saying. It is in regards to when you said solidarity, global solidarity versus freedom of economics. So when it is solidarity, again, it is also like lives and livelihood. Your point is lives and livelihood. You can take it as lives and livelihood. Aman's Chota Bin says Aman UPSC focus on entire area, but GPSC covers in the meter of state affairs. Okay. I mean, whenever we go ahead with in regards to the states, like in regards to Supreme Court verdicts or any kind of acts, articles, so that could be part of the state services also. And what is the Harish Khanna says? What is the snake symbol meaning? Okay, in W. This is actually for the medical people. They go ahead with this medically. I mean, W health related. It is health. You also have seen it probably in the Doctors Association. Also, you have this in the ICMR, Indian Council for Medical Research. Also, you have this. So this is with the what you said doctors. They actually protect us from all kinds of snake symbol meaning in photograph shown. Yeah. That is what I'm talking about. This. Okay. Now we have looked at the WHO effort. Why I have taken this is because the kind of blaming being done by Trump, or else we have seen in even in video conferencing in the G20 summit recently, which has happened, wherein it was presided or headed by Saudi Arabia, King MBS, Mohammed bin Sultan. Even there, even there, many countries have raised concerns or they have raised worrisome approach of WHO, or they were trying to blame. Even there, few countries were trying to raise a point against WHO and saying that, oh, it's only because of WHO. No, countries have to react. It is not only the head of the family is always responsible. Even each and every member of the family in the family is responsible for whatever cause or whatever the cause and effect method also in the family. The same way, when we are just trying to find fault at WHO, I think it is irrational. And that is why I have taken up this, what you said, the efforts being made by WHO in the midst of the pandemic COVID-19. And now we will look at the global response. We will look at the global response towards the Donald Trump's decision or disastrous and unthinkable decision of freezing the funds to WHO. And Aman Kazi says, I think so. Who is responsible for declared on COVID-19? Okay. Chodapin says, now microorganism dominating human in regard sustainability. Oh, they are trying to sustain us. And it can be a bioweapon, but sir, recent survey by Indian scientists showed that 2 out of 10 bats species show that positive corona specimens, so we cannot totally yes put blame. That is what I'm saying. It has to be what do you say looked at it very practically. Even ICMR, this report, Indian scientists, when it is again just 2 days back, yesterday or day before, the ICMR has actually gone ahead with the testing and they have tested the bats across the country in various states. It has been done in Himachal Pradesh, even in what you say North India, and then Telangana also, Telangana and various other states. Couple of states it has gone ahead with testing the bats which have been what you say died mortality. I mean it has been died, and then they have tested and then they have found it is proved that in the bats, in the Indian bats, even SARS-CoV-2 is there. That is why I have said in one of my session, I have said humans are encroaching into the animal zone. Please do understand, I made this point. I've said this statement in one of my lectures. Humans encroaching into the animal zone, wherein animals, when you are encroaching in the animal zone, in the capacity or in the midst of or in this in the pretext of saying that we are going ahead with the we are going ahead with the development, infrastructure development, road construction, dams, mining, and all that. What is happening? We are forging into, we are barging into the area of animals. That is what we are getting into the biosphere. We are disturbing the biodiversity. We are disturbing the ecology and environment. Thereby, the wild animals where they are supposed to live, the viruses where they are supposed to be, that is with the wild elements or in the biospheres areas, that we are barging into it, we are getting into it. That is why the virus again from there, because along with humans, even the domestic animals are getting there, and then the virus from the wild animals are getting into the domestic animals, and from domestic animals there is a possibility to what is a humans to be infected. And other point in regards to what Harpreet has said in regards to bats is that as we are barging into the forest area, wherein the bats are actually what their place is in the forest area or else dense densely area wherein you have more number of trees. So when you are cutting away the trees and then getting into the those areas, or else in the net of animals net, we are getting into the net of animals. So what will happen, especially in regards to what is Harpreet talking about the bats, what ICMR and the scientists have gone ahead with the test, and then they have proved, and it is proved. The report says that yes, the SARS-CoV-2 virus is in bats, Indian bats. So why it is happening? Because we have entered into that zone. So those the bats have entered into the human habitation, and once they have entered into the human habitation, trying to settle on the trees or wherein humans are habitating, then definitely the virus again from the bats, what you say, the pickers or waste from the bats will again spread towards humans. That is what the spreading of the virus is. So I've taken what is a little bit of time to get into that bats and all that ICMR reports. Now I'll get to, yes, Punjab also is there. Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, and even Telangana, South India states are also there. And then I would say hi to everyone. And then what are the response? Now we will look at the responses. What the WHO chief, that is Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, has said this in regards to the disastrous and unthinkable decision of Donald Trump. He has said there is no time to waste. Look at it, so professional he is. He is not for tit for tat. He is saying that as a responsible, as a chief of WHO, there is no time to waste. That means he says that whatever, I mean, indirectly, probably what I feel is he's saying that whatever Trump has gone ahead, now the time is not apt to discuss that. Now there is no time to waste. And he also made it, he also added saying that singular focus. I mean, now the focus is, or else the WHO focus, or else the entire country or the globe focus is, should be on working to serve all people, to save lives, and to stop the COVID-19 pandemic. Look at it, so professionally, so what is a well quoted statement or tweet by the WHO chief Ghebreyesus. That is what you and you all tomorrow, when you become a civil servant aspirant, your answer, your reaction also should be the same. And I mean it, because your statement, your action should not depict your mind, what's going on here. Please do understand, and I'll just take 10 seconds here. Your facial expression, your speech or the dialogue or the delivery should not or should never uh, make sure that it will reflect what is going on in your mind. So that is what the professionalism is. And definitely you all, as a future bureaucrat or civil servant aspirant, in the training you will definitely get into that process. So this is important, as what is being said by Tedros Ghebreyesus. And then Aman says that the virus is spreading from September 2019. Is it right? Frankly speaking, to what information I have is the first case was in December itself, 2019, in Wuhan province. Probably it has spread, but I mean, many people could not estimate, or else at least the China officials or the people, the health officials in Wuhan could not trace it that it was SARS-CoV-2. But there were few doctors or uh, medical people, authorities who have raised concern about there is a possibility that the lives or the kind of ill health what was happening in Wuhan in December itself, they have suspected that it is something because of the virus, because they are well aware or they have experience with the SARS. They have the experience with SARS. They have the experience with SARS since 2002, 2003 itself. They have the experience with H1N1. They have the experience with H1N5. So definitely they might have got the information, but probably again many questions raised now. Many questions raised now. forget about past, and then at least try to contain. That is what he says. Now the job is to focus, is to save the people, and then stop thinking about COVID-19, or to stop the pandemic, COVID-19. And all the leaders across the globe. Okay, before I get, I would say a very big hi to everyone. And then Aman says WHO is responsible for giving news to another country. It is vice versa. It is vice versa also. The WHO has to provide the information, or the what do you say, respective measures, or to give the bulletin which is required for the countries to implement at the time of pandemic situation or health emergency situation. And the same kind of responsibility from the states or the countries. I'm talking of states in the sense here countries, that they have to again pass on the exact and then the correct details about the virus, spread of virus, infection, and the mortality rate or the death cases from the respective states to the WHO. It is the vice versa. WHO has a responsibility to spread or to give the information to the countries. At the same time, each and every country also have the responsibility, duty bond responsibility, that they have to give the exact information about the spread of virus, health infrastructure, and the mortality rate, and then the kind of test being conducted, all that. It is the vice versa. That is what it is. Not just what you say, as I said, that it is a responsibility of the head of the family itself. No, it is a responsibility of the all the members of the family. If anything, that is in regards to the cause and effect I was talking about. Yeah, virus. Yes, definitely for virus, it is that is what I'm saying. See, because it has been originated in Wuhan, definitely the China's official or China's medical authorities should have given that information first to WHO, saying that initially in the December itself, that this is what is going on. This is a what is a new an illness which we are unable to detect, and immediately they are getting the symptoms, and within a couple of, I mean, just 2 weeks, they are the mortality rate or their the fatalities are happening. So that information should have been given by the Chinese officials, by the country, or by the what is the Chinese medical authorities or the doctors, and then passed on to the respective protocol, and then China should have been given to the WHO also, so that WHO will focus, or should have been focused to the, or passed on the information to various other countries. Okay, and Aman says, which book is useful to read for UPSC? Please tell. It is all NCERT books from 6th standard to 12th standard. I'm beginning for the school, no problem. 6th to 12th standard, please go ahead reading all this. And then all the leaders have fired US president. Now coming back to this, they have fired the decision taken by the US president, because now the situation is very serious, and it is danger that the virus is spreading very fast, and then it is killing more people. At this time, the decision taken by the US president is not liked, or it is being fired by many of the leaders, global leaders. And even the billionaire, that is Bill Gates, also has said or tweeted that the decision taken by US President Donald Trump is as dangerous as it sounds. So there are various responses globally by the global leaders, and then the billionaires coming across against the decision, disaster decision, and unthinkable decision of Donald Trump. And then Beijing also has raised the point, saying that this step, or the decision taken by the US presidents, undermine the international cooperation, definitely, because always the China is, since almost 2 to 3 years, it is focusing on globalization or universalization, international cooperation. It is against the protectionism, it is against the national interest, it is against the America first. And that is what it is saying. Beijing is also has also raised the concern, saying that the decision taken by Trump undermines the international cooperation. And this is again a key phrase or the key word itself. And then it is at this critical moment what the decision taken by the Donald Trump is unthinkable. And I would say a big hi to everyone. And then before I get into the next one, Sushant says that, don't you think, sir, it is only because US China patterns still they are in a cold war? Definitely situation in the mind, definitely to hold the power of the world, definitely. As you all see, tariff war, definitely UN Security Council resolution, there is US China promotion for nation first and territory expansion. Undoubtedly, both are doing the same in a different way. Sushant. Undoubtedly, you're right. Both are doing the same way, in a same. Their intention is same, but in a different way. What is US going at is America first. What is China going ahead with globalization? Both intention is the same. With in regards to maritime Silk Route, in regards to one road, one belt, in regards to China-Pakistan economic corridor, being part of what you say the string of pearls. So both are trying to extend their own what you say hegemony against all countries across the globe, but in a different way. So this person is what is a the WHO chief Ghebreyesus, as you all know, he is the president of China and he is the Bill Gates. And here European Union also the leader of European Union chief Joseph Borrell also he has said that whatever decision taken by Donald Trump it lacks any justification. Look at the global response. European Union's foreign policy leader. He is a person who is Borrell. Joseph Borrell, who says that the decision taken by Trump is it lacks any kind of justification. It doesn't hold good. It doesn't what do you say have any kind of weight. He says African Union chief also Moza Faki Mohammed is the one. I've taken the photograph for your what is a pictorial representation. He also says that decision taken by Trump in regards to the freezing of the fund to the WHO is deeply regrettable. And then Tipaswamy, Nikila, Nitesh Kumar, everyone a very big hi to all you also. Sorry, I was engrossed in the entire discussion. I'm extremely sorry. Hi to everyone. And this is in regards to the US or Donald Trump's decision against freezing the funds to WHO. And before I get to the next topic, next is I would say I would read the Aman Ghazi 6 to 12, which subject is to be read. In regards to all the subject, please do read. Please do take up all the subjects 6 to 12 standard. But do not, what do you say, mug up. First, go ahead with a what was say one fast reading, and then later on trying to get the concept. And the third reading, you have to link it with the questions of what UPSC might focus. Harpreet says that it's a fight of new world order and taking over the hegemony in the league. Okay, definitely. That is what I was saying yesterday or day before. That the international institutions or the international institutions, for example, UN or United Nations Security Council, WTO, and then even WHO is losing its relevance. Is losing its relevance. You never know, and that will be the question in the mains also. And then now because of the freeze of the funds, what could be the challenging? Almost I did explain the challenges. Just we'll look at it. So it will have a global impact on the functioning of the. It will have a what is a impact on the global body itself. That is the functioning of the global body. Not only in regards to the functioning, it will impact the functioning of the global body, but it will hurt the humanity. That is what I was talking about. What Trump is doing is not against an international organization. It is not against an health institution. No, he is hurting the humanity. That is what is very important. The challenge what now because of the freezing of the funds by Donald Trump's disastrous and unthinkable decision is or would cause or is a challenge or the cause of concern is that it will impact the functioning of the global body. That is what the international organizations functions will be distorted. It will be distorted. Not only functioning of the global bodies will be distorted, but also it will hurt the humanity itself, and that is not being taken into consideration by Donald Trump. He is not understanding the humanity because he actually looked at he actually concentrated on the economy, not on the health, not on the lives of the Americans. When he is repeatedly he was talking about what you said before the elections also 4 years back, he was saying America first, and even now he was talking about America first. Let's make America great. Just by what you say, just by thinking about in terms of economic or in terms of economy to keep on running, you cannot make America first. You cannot make America what do you say great. It is when you save the lives, only then you make your country great. And then he has definitely hurt not only the Americans' life, yes, but he said the lives of the Americans are lost, but because of this decision to freeze, there would be many lives, or it would hurt the humanity itself. And not only that, it will impact the low and middle income countries across the globe, wherein these low and middle income countries are looking at WHO for guidance, and also for the financial assistance, and also for the essential commodities, that is in regards to the medical essential commodities. When I'm talking about essential, it is medical essential commodities, for the guidelines, for the kits, for the testing kits, mask. So now because of the freeze of funds, the low and middle income countries will be badly hit. And then we know that over 2 million cases deaths, 2 million cases in regards to the infection have taken place, and around 1 lakh 27 deaths globally have taken place. And when this graph is increasing day by day, what is important is this kind of decisions is not at all accepted, is not at all taken into consideration to restrict the spread of the virus. And then blaming and withholding WHO is a disastrous outcome, because it is not that only WHO is responsible for this. I'm saying WHO is not only responsible. I'm not saying WHO is responsible. I'm saying WHO is not only the organization which is responsible. It is every country, every leader, every organization, international, every even United Nations organization is also part of responsible. United Nations Security Council is also somewhere the other responsible to stop the pandemic, or should have taken some measures, or should have given some guidelines, or should have come up with various measures to restrict the pandemic. So it's all coordinated effort. We cannot just blame one organization here. Not only here, any kind of situation. That is why we have UNO, United Nations Security Council. You have the, what you say, in regards to legal, you have some WTO, you have again. So only just blaming or withholding WHO funding is not at all the right move, and it is a disastrous outcome. And WHO cannot independently investigate. That is what I was saying when what you say, someone has asked. It is not that only the WHO's responsibility, it is the responsibility of the various individual member states or the member countries, that they have to again pass on the information, respective and then reliable factual information to be passed back again to the WHO, so that again WHO can cater to the needs, or can go ahead with providing these exact measures what has to be taken to the various countries, or passing on the information. Before I go to the next topic, Aman says, can you make your YouTube channel? I'm working for Unacademy as of now. Very good morning. Okay, Mubashir Ahmad, very good morning. Very good morning, and hi to everyone who have joined. And then Ahmad, Mubashir Ahmad, my class starts at 10 o'clock. This is just a sense of humor. Not that I'm kind of dictating here, just a sense of humor in the midst of the class. Because sometimes what I do is I get into that flow. So probably because of that, I'm just saying. And now we will look at, because of the pandemic situation. Very good morning, Ule. And then answered my above question. Okay. No, that's okay. But I'm just reminding you. 10 to 11 is my class. I mean, it's your class, your special, Unacademy special class. It's not my class. It's Unacademy special class. So, how the global economy has been squeezed because of pandemic? We'll just look at few countries across the world. China's economy has been contracted for the first time in 3 decades. The kind of impact because of the COVID-19, which has been the epicenter, the Wuhan district of the Hubei province in China. Because of this, the China has gone ahead with 76 days lockdown, and because of the 76 days lockdown, to make sure that they handle the health crisis and also economic crisis. Overall, the economy of China has been contracted. It has reduced for the first time in the 3 decades, that is 30 years. For the first time, it has come down so badly. It has hit very badly. It has come to somewhere close to 1.2 percentage. It will come down to 2021. And then in regards to Denmark, if you look at slowly the Denmark government is trying to come up with the patchwork experiment. What I was saying, few countries are now coming up with the patchwork experiment. That is the strategic exit or calibrated exit from the national lockdown. Not only India, all other countries are also in that mode of stricter measure to follow the social distancing through national lockdown. And Denmark is now slowly trying to have that schools, nurseries, kindergartens, starting. They are going ahead with the opening of the school slowly, gradually, in a phased manner. And the other one, they still are going ahead with, they're still continuing the closure of the borders, or it could be restaurants, bars, and all the places are being closed, but like a staggered. What is that strategic exit? Slowly, the what do you say? The national lockdown is gradually being lifted, phase by phase manner. So even if look at Finland, the Finland Prime Minister Sanna Marin, again this is important for prelims point of view, has lifted the travel ban only in Helsinki, that is the capital city of Finland, Helsinki region. It has been made sure that the restrictions have been reduced, or it has been lifted a little bit, so that there would be movement of the residents a little bit, not completely. And if you look at Italy also, they have allowed the bookshops and this laundrettes, means in regards to wherein you go, you have a washing machines, laundry system, wherein you take your clothes, you go there, it washes and then it gives, and then you pay for it, service. And then stationery and all the children's clothing and retailers are opened. And if you look at Spain, they are permitted work to start from factories and construction sites. And why I have taken this all this, so this why I have taken is because I've used a key phrase in the second what do you say, the slide. I've said patchwork experiment. Many countries are actually coming up with the patchwork experiment at this moment. When the patchwork experiment are being taken up by various countries, at this moment the Donald Trump's decision is a disastrous and it is an unthinkable decision. Okay, before I get to the next one, Arpit says that, sir, China started increasing the prices of APIs, which is essential. Okay, that is pharmaceuticals ingredients. They are pharmaceutical ingredients, wherein India is also dependent on the raw material to produce or to manufacture the anti-malarial drug, that is hydroxychloroquine. That is in regards to the hydroxychloroquine, definitely, which is essential for many pharmaceutical India and other countries, which might further erode capability of them to take COVID-19 in a way. You said China is also doing in some different way. No, I mean it could be, but again, if it is purposely doing it, then definitely there would be pressure onto China by the WHO, now. Okay, Aman Kazi, you are talking about full form of AFP. It is, what do you say, a kind of poll or an organization. I would get back to you. I would definitely get back to the full form of AFP, because I haven't looked at it very keenly. But I would definitely get back to you, Aman. Aman, I would definitely get back to you. And then, what is the way forward? So, what is the way forward now is that nothing works out if you are just faulting the WHO. The way that Trump is going ahead with faulting the WHO is just to wash his hands. Why wash his hands? That whatever the failures, administrative failures he has actually, what you say, faced, not trying to contain the epidemic, not trying to contain the epidemic. So it is very clear that the blaming doesn't really holds good at this moment. The blaming doesn't really holds good at this moment. And what is important is that Trump, instead of blaming, he has to make sure that he also focus on the administrative mechanism, wherein to try to contain the pandemic. And then it is Trump which goes ahead with always blaming everyone. And then whatever shortcomings are there, he would definitely blame everyone. I mean, every country goes ahead, and then if the country is not accepting, then definitely he goes ahead with the sanctions. He goes ahead with the sanctions. And in regards to the whenever there is solidarity or unmitigated support, when the entire world is coming out with the solidarity, so it is the member countries or the member state, every country has to come together and then fight a war against the SARS-CoV-2. And then when every country has to come together and then be a coordinated effort to fight against the SARS-CoV-2, now the time is not to go ahead with withholding the funds, and it is not at the best interest of the WHO, it is not best interest of the even USA also. When USA is withholding the funds, it will definitely cause some kind of damage not only to WHO but also to the US. And failures to, and in regards to failures to the oversight or other reasons, the WHO other members can also be looked, and that means it is a responsibility of each and everyone. They have to go ahead with fighting the spread of the virus. And if you look at the world, it says that world should soften the blow of looming the economic catastrophe. That is very important. Now the way forward is that entire countries have to come forward, come together, and then and then okay, meaning of solidarity and it is unmitigating. Solidarity is that you are for everyone, like Arpit or Sushant was talking about one family. You should have the solidarity, you should have that what you say helping nature, you should try to what you say protect each and everyone. So that kind of solidarity, you protect in the sense in regards to the financially and also in regards to the point that how best we can try to make sure that we are all trying to come out of the pandemic situation. And then mitigating means elevating, removing. Unmitigated is you are not trying to remove it, you're not trying to remove it. So that is what. And then in regards to the way forward is every country has to come forward so to soften the blow, that is all coordinated, every country has to come together because this is a global economic catastrophe, it is a global economic crisis, it is global economic damage or global economic damage to the global economic activity itself. And when this is happening, the entire countries have to come together and then fight against the pandemic 19, but not the way the US President Donald Trump has gone ahead with withholding the funds. And then the kind of IMF has come up with a report, the damage which has taken place to the global economy is around 9 trillion US dollars. So the entire global economy is 9 trillion US dollars. So that is a very big impact. So when the impact is so high, now the kind of disastrous decisions to freeze the funds to the WHO is not at all accepted. And then the all the countries have to come forward. And then the conclusion is that I will read it. The conclusion is I will read it. As governments launch into delicate debates, this is the delicate debates of how to jumpstart economies. Not just what you say, definitely they have to go ahead with some calibrated approach or strategic approach. Exit. Okay, without triggering new waves of infection. So that a phased manner the exit has to take place, but maintaining the social distancing, and making sure that the spread of virus do not increase. Mr. Trump has rattled the efforts of global solidarity. That is what the point is now. The ultimate point is that Mr. Trump has rattled the efforts of global solidarity by ramping up his blame game with the WHO and halting funds. So definitely there is a blame game which is happening between US Donald Trump and also in regards to WHO. And in regards to the AFP, actually you have one which says that it is Agence France Presse or an international news agency. Okay, Aman, AFP is an what do you say Agence France Presse. It is an, or else you have this what do you say, it is an international news agency. You have various, that is in regards to the Australian Federal Police you have ones, but that is not related to this. But the other one is alpha fetoprotein medicine, which is not related to us. What is that is an agency. AFP means it is Agence France Presse. It is an international news agency. Aman, AFP means it is Agence France Presse. AGENCE France, FRANCE dash PRESSE, Agence France Presse, which is Can you? What is that? RINGH? Where here at screen? This one, according to AFP poll of economists. Okay, here when Sushant was saying solitude in the sense whenever you are kind of what you say alone, being alone. Solitude is alone. Sushant, solitude is alone. In other sense, solidarity is when actually solidarity is like you are going ahead with giving a help or helping hand, making sure that you are taking the consideration, kind of empathizing the person. Solitude is that wherein you are in a kind of situation wherein you are actually alone. Okay, and Harpreet says that a new world order may rise, the mutual trust going to erode, which impacts the import and export in turn, which affect the business of developing countries. Third, globalization is going to hit. Okay, 3 points we have made. One is world order, and then mutual trust, and then globalization will be hit. Okay. Okay, Harpreet says regarding to Sushant's questions, okay, solitude in other sense, solidarity. But in regards to meaning, what I understood is solitude is that it is like you are alone, being lonely, and then solidarity is like you are taking everyone together. And AFP is an Agence France Presse. It is an international news agency. As per that, it has come up with a report. So I hope that the kind of the disastrous decision taken by Donald Trump or unthinkable decision which has taken by Donald Trump in regards to freezing the fund is not at all human. Is not at all human. It is against the human race itself. It is against the trust of humanity. It is against the trust of humanity. So I feel, I mean, before I would I would go, I would say a very big hi to everyone who had joined, and I hope that I did try to make sure that it was a very informative and knowledgeable session, special class session, Unacademy special class session to you all, comparing it with the Trump versus WHO. And I would say thank you and then thank you all. And then see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Aman Kazi, thank you, Aman Kazi. And then please make sure that you go ahead with you have the feedback. Please go ahead with giving the feedback. So I'll be mostly waiting for the feedback. I hope I have done my job in regards to giving the best in regards to prelims and also in regards to mains point of view. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow. And thank you to each and everyone who are part of the special session. Okay, in regards to that, I will let you know tomorrow which books are useful like me, Lakshmikant, and I will let you know, Aman. Tomorrow, 10 o'clock is a class. I will definitely put forward the views.